Before we get into today's video, I am super excited to announce that I have been invited to join the Twitch Partner Program. With this next step in my content creation journey comes a couple changes. Going further, my Twitch and YouTube channel names will be Strasner. I stream every day besides Tuesdays and Thursdays, and if you'd like to check it out, there's a link in the description below. I can't say that I've ever had to sit down and consider whether I like electrocuting everything versus setting it on fire, but that's what we're doing today. Something really interesting that Bungie has implemented with the introduction of the 3.0 subclasses is a new level of synergy when pairing matching energy weapons to subclass type. The goal of today's video is specifically to determine if Voltshot is as good as Incandescent. Voltshot states that reloading this weapon after defeating a target overcharges this weapon for a short period of time, causing it to jolt on its next hit. And Jolted states the target is charged with destructive arc light. As they take additional damage while jolted, they chain lightning to nearby targets. Think sort of like Arc Web on the old Arc subclass. Incandescent states defeating a target spreads a scorch to those nearby. More powerful combatants and opposing guardians cause scorch in a larger radius. And scorch means the target is singed by destructive solar light, taking damage over time. Scorch damage increases as the target accumulates more scorch stacks. After enough scorch stacks are applied to the target, they ignite. And an ignition is a large solar explosion which deals damage in an area around the target. Now, here's where things seem to get a little sketchy. If we go ahead and look at all of the different fragments in Arc 3.0, there's not really a whole lot that interacts with each other. And definitely not a whole lot that interacts with Voltshot. The one thing that I've found that is super useful is that defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace. So basically every time that you get a multi-kill, right? So you get that first kill, you reload, get a second kill, you create an ionic trace, and then all of the jolt kind of tags the enemies in the area, electrocuting them all, kind of like a Dune Marcher's chain or an old Arc Web. It works really well for ability regen because you're basically creating non-stop ionic traces, giving yourself non-stop ability energy, making it possible to just spam as many grenades and melee attacks as you can. However, the Solar 3.0 fragments interact with Incandescent a lot more. So you can see right off the bat, rapidly defeating multiple targets with solar ignition generates an orb of power. So essentially, if you cause enough scorch stacks with that incandescent weapon, and it triggers an explosion on a nearby enemy, you make an orb of power each time. I also defeat a scorched enemy and get more melee energy, and my solar ignition spreads scorch to affected targets, which stacks on top of incandescent. There's a couple of other ones like Ember of Ashes applies more scorch, and that works for incandescent weapons. I can increase the radius of the explosion from the gun. I can also have those explosions give me grenade energy back. All in all, there seems to be a lot more synergy with Solar 3.0 and Incandescent, but I'll go ahead and give you a couple examples of how this works in game. Now, all in all, I don't think there is a way to come up with a definitive conclusion on which one is better. I will say that myself personally, I've been using weapons with Voltshot while I'm running the Arc subclasses, and I've been using weapons with Incandescent when I'm running Solar subclasses. This is the first time that I have ever matched the energy type of weapon that I'm using to the subclass that I'm using. And it's really, really fun to see all of these different synergies that Bungie has implemented into the game with this type of combination. Now, I personally wish that we had a Void weapon perk that we could use along with Void to further expand on the abilities that Void 3.0 offers. You can obviously create volatile rounds with any Void subclass getting a grenade kill, but it just doesn't quite feel the same. One thing that I didn't talk about yet is the ability to mix and match as well. So let's say I need to be running Lunafactions, but I really, really like the way Voltshot works. I can take advantage of Voltshot. I won't create ionic traces when I'm getting multi-kills with it, but I can still utilize the perk if I really, really love that. And same thing vice versa. I could run an incandescent energy weapon along with, something like this combo here. So far, I think I'm having the most fun with Voltshot, but a lot of it comes down to personal preference. Let me know if you've got a favorite and why.